Historic, titanic, unimaginable storm. President Biden describing Hurricane Ian after he got a firsthand look at the massive devastation in southwest Florida. The president surveying the catastrophic destruction on the ground and from the sky as he flew over the hardest hit Fort Myers Beach area in a helicopter. He said it's clear to him from all of that damage that it will take years, not months, for the state of Florida to fully recover and rebuild.
We have a long road ahead of us, rebuilding entire communities from the ground up. I want the people of Florida to know you have my commitment and America's commitment that we're not going to leave. We're going to see you through this entire process, and it's going to take a hell of a long time.
President Biden and the Republican governor, Ron DeSantis, setting aside their politics and fierce rivalry for now. Mr. Biden telling reporters today that they're working in lockstep and that Governor DeSantis thanked the president for all of the help. This is a woman in Bonita Springs shouting help and waving as President Biden flew over her destroyed mobile home park. Hurricane Ian wiped out the entire park, smashing together all of the homes and leaving them in this giant heap. 115 people are now confirmed dead from Hurricane Ian, but that number is expected to keep climbing. CNBC's Perry Russum begins our coverage tonight. He rode along with an urban search and rescue team as they sifted through the wreckage in Fort Myers Beach. Perry.
Yes, Shep, it has been a long 7 days for first responders on Fort Myers Beach. The number of dead is just rising every day. They are trying to find every person that is missing, if that's even possible.
This is being called ground zero for Hurricane Ian. As each hour passes, hope fades. The search for the missing is becoming the search for the dead. It's not clear who could survive a week under rubble. Here, a delicate peeling back of debris after the smell of possible human remains is detected under what looks like a home.
They're delayering right now, so bringing the heavy equipment in to help remove some of the heavy debris, and they're taking off layers at a time.
We ride through Fort Myers Beach with Ignatius Carroll from Florida Task Force 2.
I know you have 7 miles that you have to search essentially. How much of that has been accomplished so far?
So we've searched the entire 7 mile of Fort Myers Beach. We have put our hands on every structure. Now we're going back for those primary and secondary searches.
Do you think you can still find people alive under this rubble?
At this time, we're still in the search and rescue operation. We have rescued several people who were trapped in their homes and had no way of letting people know that they couldn't get out.
Police checkpoints are set up by the bridge to Fort Myers Beach. Only first responders can cross. They're set up to be here for days. People leave with whatever their backs and hands can carry.
I wanted to be the last person off that island, but as fate would have it, they wouldn't allow it.
Joe McEnany lives on Fort Myers Beach.
Joe, how many people did you save?
We pulled 5. We rescued 5.
McEnany says he was staying with his fiancée Leanna and their dog Enzo with enough supplies to last weeks. McEnany says he wanted to stay and help, but tells us deputies from the sheriff's office told him if he stepped out of his home, they'd pick him up and ship him out. He left on his own.
I've lost things. I lost people. We know people that have died. We haven't found them, but we know them.
McEnany says he just wants to go home.
They keep saying we're in the way. We're not in the way. And I think the FEMA response has just been absolutely weak. I mean, if the Ukraine needed ice, they'd have airdropped it the next day.
Do you think Fort Myers Beach will ever be what it was?
No.
Before it's decided what Fort Myers Beach will be, rescue teams are evaluating what it is.
We can't have it interfered by a lot of people who are trying to come in and start the rebuilding process. This area is not ready for that yet.
And Carroll tells us their usual mission lasts about 2 weeks, so typically 1 week to go, but he says they are trying to stay here as long as they can. As for power here in Lee County, 31% of people still do not have power. And that land bridge from Pine Island to the mainland, that has been repaired 2 days ahead of schedule, Shep, for first responders.
Perry Russum as alarms sound and the sun set in Fort Myers.